Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Rumors Podcast. I'm Tom Downey. Follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. That is Mitchell Renz on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Your last podcast for a few days.
Yeah, my last podcast for a few days. Going home, going to visit the fam. It's been a while. Unfortunately, didn't get to see him on Thanksgiving, and I'll be here for Christmas. So, Chat Sports, the bosses were lucky or nice enough to let me go home. I'm the lucky one who gets to go home for a few days, but I'll be back on Sunday night. But I think I'll be back obviously first day Monday morning for our party here at Chat Sports Studio. So that'll be fun.
We'll have Harris Rubenstein guest host an episode or two.
Harris will be back on for an episode or two. Yeah, I think he'll do fine. I thought he did pretty good while you were gone in Cabo. But guys, for the last, we ended the last show going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We're going to get to him in just a second. But if there's any fantasy football rumors throughout this entire show that Tom and I do not answer, please hit us up on Twitter. Again, MitchellRenz365, What Going Downey. If you guys like the show, please drop us a 5-star review so Tom and I can continue to do the show and sip beer on camera. We definitely would appreciate that. And please follow Chat Sports at Chat Sports on Instagram and Twitter. Tom, I got 3 fantasy football rumors for you. 2 fantasy believe it or not.
Okay.
An interesting question. And then 3 more fantasy football rumors.
Okay. Let's
Sounds good. So last show we ended with Aaron Rodgers. Is Aaron Rodgers going to play Week 15? I want to know yes or no right now.
Look,
yes or no right now?
Yeah, he will. He's going to force his way back probably sooner than he should. And I think there's at least a chance that he actually re-injures himself. This is a Tony Romo type scenario where
don't say that.
Where the Packers go, oh my God, Brett Hundley's garbage. Aaron, please come back. We need you. And he goes, okay, guys, I will rush back. And then he's not healthy, and it kind of shows a little bit.
Did you see him tossing passes? Like he was throwing passes in the Steelers game. What was it last week?
It's not about the throwing the passes thing. It's about the
taking a hit.
You land on that shoulder again. That's not going to be fully healed. It's just not going to be yet.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it's going to be fully healed either. But I mean, they've said if they're in playoff contention and he can return, he's going to.
Yeah.
And they play the Browns this week.
I thought that they weren't going to be in contention at this point. I thought that they would have lost some games. They have won in spite of Brett Hundley.
In spite of Brett Hundley, and I totally agree. And I'll tell you what, if I'm the NFC North, I think the Vikings have that division, but I'm scared. I'm scared that Aaron Rodgers.
I don't want to play a healthy Rodgers in the playoffs. Absolutely not.
No way. Like, the fact that Aaron Rodgers could come back, that could totally change the NFC playoff picture.
The thing is that they're several games behind already. The NFC is loaded. If they were in the AFC, they would get in and they might make it to the AFC title game.
Okay.
Like that's how weak the AFC is right now.
No, and I agree. I mean, I just wrote 2 articles, AFC playoff picture and NFC playoff picture, so you guys should definitely check those out. And just on the overall just look, but the Packers realistically, they're going to play the Lions in their last week, and if they win out,
playoff playing game.
Like again, like we saw it last year, and it could happen. I mean, if they win this week against the Browns and move to 7-6,
which they should.
They should. I mean, God, I hope. But then if you have Aaron Rodgers for 15, 16, 17, I understand like they're not always going to be favored in every single one of those matchups, but
gives them a chance.
You have Aaron Rodgers, you have 12, Colin Hike. I like your chances a lot. I agree. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play Week 15, and I know I was saying earlier that he wasn't, but it's because I never thought the Packers would be in a position where they could make the playoffs, and they are still mathematically, and I believe they have a 16% chance of making the playoffs. Tom, fantasy football rumor number 2 I got for you. Alex Collins, he had a great game this past week. He's dealing with migraines, and the Ravens have already come out and said that they are actually very concerned about his status going forward.
Yeah, migraines suck. I would be concerned too.
I've never had one.
Oh, you don't want to have one. First one I had put me in the hospital, dude. Like, those things will take you out of commission. Like, they are awful. So I understand why Baltimore is concerned.
Can we give one to Roger Goodell?
You don't want to give him. No, I would not wish that on anyone.
It takes him out of commission. I'm all for it.
I see what you there, but I see what you mean. I don't wish a migraine on anyone. Like, they are awful, awful headaches.
So, I mean, for a running back, though, who's kind of like that bruiser, I mean, he's been getting a lot of work. This Ravens team, winners of 3 straight games, like, he's been really reliable. He has been super consistent running back for a guy who's
not fumbling.
Correct. No, again, but I mean, the Ravens don't really have any other options to run between the tackles right now. If you have Alex Collins, you're going into Week 14. I mean, like,
I mean, it is you wake up in the morning and you see what the inactive list is, because by then he should be able to play. But there is always risk that he develops another migraine during a game and he's out of commission. So, look, it's a risk for the Ravens. It's a risk for Collins. It's a risk for fantasy owners. Be careful. And try and see if there are other options that you have.
And I'm going to do my best to get an article out on Alex Collins as soon as anything breaks about his status, because, again, anytime we deal with migraines, and we saw it a few weeks ago with Sterling Shepard, there's a guy like you just didn't know like his status, and all of a sudden like, yeah, they're not going to play, they're not going to rush him back. We saw players like Percy Harvin really struggle from migraines. I think that's he had other injuries, but man, they really complicated his career. This is something scary and something that you just can't risk. So if Alex Collins dealing with migraines, I don't think you can play him, and he might not end up playing this week. So keep an eye on that. Fantasy rumor number 3, Rob Gronkowski has been suspended. For a guy like me. Brutal. For a guy like me who has Rob Gronkowski, are there any names that you could possibly think of that you could say, all right, maybe this guy's under waiver wire, or maybe he's a reliable stream?
Jameis Winston makes Cameron Brate again. Ooh. So,
I actually didn't get that, and now I do.
I said it twice on Sunday on air.
Oh, really? On Monday. I don't watch the show.
Yeah, it's a great show. Is Jason Witten available in your league? Like, I doubt it, but because Jason Witten against the Giants, he's
true.
Start
your tight ends against the Giants.
Top 5 fantasy tight end this week. He's gonna torch.
I like the Cameron Brate. Before Jameis Winston got hurt, Cameron Brate was a top 6 tight end, and we saw last week 2 catches.
Patrick comes in, he falls apart, and now he's back.
And now he's back. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. But the guy who I really like, and then there's another player who's questionable. They don't know if he's going to play. Is Zach Ertz. I don't know if you've seen this story. Zach Ertz is questionable, and they don't know if he's going to play.
Well, if Zach Ertz can't play, give me some Trey Burton.
Trey Burton, because that's a guy who, if Zach Ertz or Gronk obviously aren't playing, Trey Burton's a guy that I like. And actually, Cameron Brate is my DFS stream of the week on an article that I'm writing for another company that I will not mention.
I, for one, love Trey Burton because I loved him at Florida when he was a quarterback.
Really? He was a quarterback?
Yeah, he played quarterback, dude. He was
why can't I be athletic like that?
He played quarterback, some running back. He did everything. He was not a tight end by trade, and they kind of moved him out away from quarterback.
This is totally random. So
he wasn't a great quarterback. He was kind of the run first, not really throw it a whole lot, but he played some quarterback.
I wrote an article for Chat Sports the other day about the top prospects coming into the Big Ten. There was a kid who was 16 years old, a tight end, at 6'5", 245 pounds. In what world?
I always question the high school weights. Because as was told to me,
there was a defensive tackle going to Ohio State who was 6'5", 310 pounds. Where are these high school kids? Who's feeding them? How can you feed a kid like that?
I know some of these guys. They're huge. I will say this though: it's almost always as I was told to by the head football trainer at my high school. Hey, add 2 inches and 15 pounds to whatever you check in as.
Yeah, we did that. We did that in college too. I think on my pitcher profile it was 6 foot 190. So. Far from both of those numbers, that's for sure. But, Tom, it's always nice to add a few inches, as we know. So I got 2 fantasy believe it or nots. 2 fantasy believe it or nots for you, man. Believe it or not, the Eagles have 3 players on their roster that have 7 touchdown receptions.
Yes, they do.
Can you name them?
Aguilar, Jeffrey. Easy.
Okay. Easy one?
Because Aguilar got his 7th this week.
Correct. And yes, the Eagles have 3 players with 7+ receiving touchdowns, and I think it's interesting just to see how much fantasy value there's been for the Eagles this entire season and how it's been spread out. But it's been kind of hard to predict, I think, the last few weeks. So Aguilar had a great week this past week against the Seahawks, but he was really it. Nobody else really showed up, and I don't want to compare it to the Patriots running backs because, right now it's Rex Burkhead. He's been amazing, and he's been an absolute stud, but Eagles, wide receivers, tight end, what?
Look, I'm going to keep starting Zach Ertz if
he's healthy. Start Ertz.
Healthy start. I feel okay playing Jeffrey most weeks. I know he's a little bit inconsistent.
Yep.
I'm still going to play him as a 2, maybe a flex. And Aguilar, he's really streaky. It is either great game or 1 or no points.
Are you worried about Carson Wentz?
Not really. I think Seattle's still a pretty solid defense. I think he's been really good all year. He was due for a not great game, and he was fine against Seattle. So I'm going to keep playing Carson Wentz. The Eagles' halfback situation actually concerns me more because it's a committee.
Yep, I totally agree, my man. Second fantasy, believe it or not, Alvin Kamara has been the top scoring running back in 4 straight weeks.
I'm pretty sure total he has. but I don't know if it's been 4 straight weeks for him. I think that Mark Ingram might have outscored him one of those weeks. So I'm actually not sure. So I'm going to go with no.
Over the last 4 weeks, Alvin Kamara has not been the top scoring running back.
4 for 4 this week. All right.
That sucks. I'm actually upset about that. But Alvin Kamara has been the top scoring running back the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
And again, I don't know if I could be more confident the fact that I'm going to win our Alvin Kamara
it's
and
over.
Kareem Hunt
You've
bet.
won.
It is pretty
game
sure
over. If Alvin Kamara gets hurt, I think you still win.
I still think I'm okay because
it's
Kareem Hunt
over.
is gone. I don't know whatever happened to that guy, and I can't wait to see you eat some hot sauce. That is going to
I'm actually okay with it because I own Kareem Hunt in 2 leagues.
Okay.
One of which is a dynasty. The other is a PPR.
Okay.
Perfect combo. So
I was asked this question on Twitter, and I might even make a poll because I thought it was compelling. Again, I'm a believer that certain guys, they get hot during the season. And sure, you want to stay in the fire, and we're saying start your studs. Well, I was presented a question from a kid who said he can only start 1 running back in his league.
brutal league.
Brutal league. Not going to disagree with that, but you're allowed to start 1 running back.
Okay.
He has Todd Gurley and Alvin Kamara.
Gurley. I love Alvin Kamara. I love Alvin Kamara.
Considering how amazing Alvin Kamara has been.
And I'm not saying this because I have picked against Alvin Kamara in our bet. I want Alvin Kamara to succeed because I need him in my PPR league. I need him in that. All right, but the volume, it's not great.
I don't care.
I'm gonna go with Todd Gurley because the upside is still equally high, maybe not quite as high.
Okay.
But I think the floor is a little bit safer. So I'm gonna go with Todd Gurley because let's say Alvin Kamara goes off again. He puts up 25 points. Todd Gurley's still going to get you 12, 15 almost every week. And because he's still going to work in the passing game. So I'm going to go with Todd Gurley in general, depending on the matchup.
Okay, matchup is definitely dependent, and I agree with that.
It is not a black and white sit your stud here.
And I think that's the route that I was going to go with. I think right now they're on an equal playing field. I can make the argument for starting a guy like Gurley because I agree. I think he has a better floor. But I think Kamara right now has the better ceiling, and he's shown that the last 3 weeks, being the top scoring running back. And I think it is very matchup dependent. But the Saints have pretty solid matchups going forward in the playoffs. The Rams, I think they're a little bit more difficult. I'm going to take Alvin Kamara, and if I could pick right now between the fantasy playoffs, I'm staying hot with the Saints, and I'm staying hot with Alvin Kamara. Tom, I go to the gym.
Change my bet, Todd Gurley in for Kareem Hunt the rest of the season?
Sorry, homie, you're not getting off that easy.
I know.
I actually, I try to go to the gym most days, and I try to get locker 41 every single time I go, and I just get that unlocked, dude. I am all in on Alvin Kamara. I'm going to get.
Do we need to get you an Alvin Kamara tattoo? Tramp stamp on
nice
the back.
little trap stamp.
Kamara 41.
Dude,
is that what we need for you?
Actually, I am tattoo clean, but maybe if Kamara would do it himself, I'd totally be game for it. Alvin, if you're out there, my back is all yours, my man. That sounds weird.
Just so we're clear, I'm tweeting this out and tagging him in it, and hoping he somehow sees it.
Hey, straight up, I would get an Alvin Kamara tattoo if he came in and did it. So, all right, 3 more fantasy football rumors. Eli Manning is expected to be the starter for the New York Giants following Ben McAdoo's firing.
The Giants are a mess.
Giants are a mess.
That's all I got for you.
No, I mean, I think the firing of Ben McAdoo was definitely the right call for the Giants. But Eli Manning was benched. Do you think Eli comes back in? Can he be a reliable target again? Are we going to trust Evan Ingram again? I mean, Ingram's been kind of struggling. He did have an amazing catch.
I don't really trust anyone in that Giants offense.
Okay.
The matchup's great. I'll consider Ingram, especially if I'm thin at tight end. I'll consider Shepard because I'm a big fan of his. I don't trust Orleans Darkwa. I sure as hell don't trust Eli Manning. So, look, if you're desperate, Ingram and Shepard are fine. But going from Geno to Eli isn't all of a sudden they're back. They are now the offense we saw last year with Odell Beckham.
And I think that's
not good.
No, that's you bring up the perfect point there because I don't know. I feel like it's so funny in the realm of Eli Manning hasn't really been all that great this year, obviously, and the Giants as a team have not been great. But when he got benched, the uproar of people was just outstanding.
Bench him for Geno Smith, who we know is not the answer.
And I agree. And I totally 100% agree with that. But now Eli Manning's coming back, and people are treating him, I feel like, almost like a godly figure. Oh, it's Eli Manning. Thank God. And I agree. I love the fact that Eli Manning is getting the start again, and he totally deserves it. But from a fantasy football standpoint, he wasn't good all year. And like you said, there was really nobody on that team who I can trust minus Evan Ingram. I think he's the only guy who I would still trust. I really don't want to trust Sterling Shepard. Like, guys, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on the media. And, like, yes, Eli Manning's coming back, but he was not really all that
Giants
great.
are still not very good.
Like, exactly. And not a team that I'm going to trust in the fantasy playoffs. And I don't really want to trust the Giants, man. So I'm not trusting Eli. That's what I wanted to get from that. Fantasy football rumor number 5, Tom. Peyton Barber is the new starting running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, Doug Martin's dealing with some injuries. So, and the Bucs also hate Doug Martin.
Yes, they do.
For reasons I don't understand. So, yeah, give me Peyton Barber. I'm adding him in all my leagues.
Woo! Wow. All right, so, like, he's dealing with a concussion right now.
Yeah, the Bucs hate him, and I don't really know why. He's their best halfback.
No, I agree. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I thought going into, week 12, he was running the ball pretty well. And unfortunately, then he got hurt. I think he was like 7 for 33, but I thought he looked good. But again, though, we see like good Doug Martin, and then we see really bad Doug Martin. Peyton Barber looked good.
Yeah.
He was, 24 carries, I think 100 and something yards.
He was pretty good at Auburn.
I think he led the team in receiving yards, 4 for 41.
He did.
Like, he looked really, really solid. And I am one of the biggest Doug Martin fans, truthers. He helped me win a fantasy title a few years ago. And I've always liked him out of Boise. Like, because when he's right, man, he is super good. But Peyton Barber, to me, looked like a better running back. Like, from the eye test this year, he looked better. But I'm worried that the Buccaneers are going to go to a running back by committee because for some reason, I just feel like they've never given the lion's share of carries to anybody besides Jacquizz Rodgers.
Who they gave to Barber instead this week.
Yep.
So, look, I hope it's Barber. I'm still going to add him. I'm not going to start him. But, look, if Barber keeps playing well, maybe you got a decent late end of season flex play there for you.
Yeah.
A potential game changer at this point in the year. The upside's there.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it.
Okay. Last fantasy football rumor I got for you, Tom. On the last episode, you guys should definitely check that out. It came out Tuesday. We said start your studs.
Yeah. I said start Keenan Allen.
Breaking news. Start Keenan Allen. Robby Anderson plays the Denver Broncos. Are you starting Robby Anderson against the Denver Broncos? Is Robby Anderson a studly? Is he studly enough right now?
He has not entered the Adam Thielen range for me.
Adam Thielen. Think about that statement a few weeks ago.
I know, right? Well, I picked Adam Thielen in particular because he is a stud, but his name is Adam Thielen. So we just don't care, or at least some don't care. His name is Robby Anderson, so I don't care. So, no, I'm not starting him against the Broncos defense.
Dude, he's been unbelievable.
I know he has. I know. He has been incredible. I'm still not going to do it.
Okay.
With that said, like, I don't consider him a stud. If you're desperate, you can still play him in your flex if you have to. Like, he's been worthy of that. And frankly, I think that's where most guys have been playing him because very few people drafted Robby Anderson, especially not high.
I agree. And to me, he is a flex play this week at best. I still think this Broncos defense is good. When they want to show up, they can, and that scares me because the Broncos are a very, very physical team, and if there are cornerbacks that he struggles with, Anderson, smaller guy, it is a corner who can be physical with them.
I'll probably start the Jets defense, though.
Yeah.
Trevor Siemian's awful.
That might be the play of that game. Like, Trevor Siemian, my God, 19 of 40 for 3 touchdowns. And he's starting because they don't have a better option. Like, we've seen Brock Osweiler. Lynch is hurt, but back to Anderson. I think he's a flex play. Has he been studly? Yes, but I still don't think he's in that stud range.
I don't think he is either. Okay, glad we're in agreement there.
Right.
He's no Adam Thielen yet.
He's no Adam Thielen. He's no Keenan Allen. Guys, if you think that we're Adam Thielen and Keenan Allen, please give us a 5-star review.
It's a win-win
on
there.
iTunes. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated so Tom and I can continue to do the podcast. Please follow Chat Sports at Chat Sports on Instagram and Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Follow first if you want to see all our videos. Follow Tom and I on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. That's What Going Downey. Again, I will not be around for the next 1 to 2 podcasts, but you guys can count on maybe some DFS action, some sleepers. And if you guys missed on NFL Daily, I interviewed Sigmund Bloom on Tuesday, so don't forget to check that out. I'm Mitchell Renz. That's What's Going Downey.
There you go.
Until next time, you guys stay classy.